Math Gad.
Oh Math Gad guys, welcome to another video. In today's video we're going to be talking about how to multiply radical expressions. So let's begin. So guys, the first thing you have to know when multiplying radical expressions is actually the steps of how to actually multiply them, right? So the steps basically consist, I have divided them in three basic steps. The first one is that you have to use the product property to break down the terms inside the radical, right? So for example, when we have expressions like the square root of x to the power of 5, we can actually break that down as the square root of x to the power of 4 times x to the power of 1, right? Why? Because that 4 can actually come out of the radical. You have to remember that whenever we want to take an exponent out of a radical, in this case, there is an imaginary here, a 2. So we will divide 4 divided by 2, and that is 2. So whenever we take that 4 out of the root, that means that is 4 divided by 2 times the square root of x to the power of 1, or just x. So the answer here would be x by the square root of x, correct? So for example, if we have y to the power of 93, even if I don't write nothing here, you know that there's a 2. So we have to use the product property to break down that exponent. And we can write that down as y to the power of 92 times y to the power of 1. And now that 92 can actually come out of that root as y to the power of 92 divided by 2, and then the other one, which is 1 divided by 2, would stay inside the root. And now we can write that down as y to the power of 46 times the square root of y. So that is very, very useful, guys, that you use the product property to break down the terms inside the radical. That's the first step. You also have to know that you may rewrite to show the perfect square roots, right? So there are some numbers like 4 that when you take the square root out of 4, you know that the answer is going to be 2. Or for example, when you take the square root out of 100, you know that's 10. Sometimes it's actually very useful to rewrite those numbers because you have factors of those numbers inside the roots. And now when you take those numbers and rewrite them as the perfect square roots, you can actually take them out. The other thing you can do in the last step is that when you take them out, you have to remember that you have to multiply like terms, correct? Now, all these steps, guys, look wonderful, but it's better if we make a practice, right? So let's begin. So today's problem is going to be 1/2 square root of 21x to the power of 3 times 4 multiplied by the square root of 7x squared plus y to the power of 20, right? So in this case, we have expressions outside of the root. So we have 1/2 and we also have a 4. Whatever is outside the root is going to get multiplied, and then whatever is inside the root is also going to get multiplied. So let's do that, and we can rewrite down 1/2 times 4, and that is going to be multiplied by everything inside the root. So 21x to the power of 3 times 7x squared y to the power of 20. Now, 1/2 multiplied by 4 is going to be 2, and then we're going to take a look at what's inside the square root. So inside the square root, we have 21 and 7, which are both numbers. 21 can actually be broken down as 3 times 7, and that is going to be multiplied by the other 7 that was here. This is the second step about rewriting to find out perfect square roots. Right now we have x to the power of 3, and that is going to be multiplied by x to the power of 2. Now x to the power of 3 times x to the power of 2, you have to remember that those exponents are going to be added. Because of the multiplication of the same base is the same, the exponents are going to be added, and now we have y to the power of 20. Now, we just have to do some simple math, and we multiply 3 times, and then 7 times 7 is 7 to the power of 2, or you can also write that down as 49. And then, as we mentioned before, x to the power of 3 times x to the power of 2 is x to the power of 5, y to the power of 20. Now, that 49 is a perfect square, and that 49, the square root out of 49 is 7, so you can take it out. And now, whatever is inside is the 3, which is not a perfect square, so it's not going to come out. But that 5 can actually be broken down as x to the power of 4 times x, right? And then we have y to the power of 20. Now, 2 times 7 is going to be 14. And then that 4 of the square root is going to come out. Remember, when the exponents come out, you have to divide them by 2. So x to the power of 4 divided by 2 is 2. And y to the power of 20, and that 20 divided by 2 to take it out of the square root is going to be 10. So you're left with 14x squared y to the power of 10 multiplied by the square root of 3 times x. So remember that 3 is not a perfect square, so it stays inside. That x, the exponent, is not divisible by 2, so it has to stay inside, right? So guys, you have to remember the 3 steps. Rewriting in order to get perfect squares like we did with a 7 times 7, which is 49, and that can come out. We rewrite the expressions of x to the power of 3 times x to the power of 2, and we actually use the product property to actually simplify it in a way easier way. And then whatever comes out inside that root is gonna get multiplied, like the like terms. So if we have a 2 and we have a 7, we multiply that, and that gives us 14. So guys, that's pretty much for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye guys. Check out these other videos to improve your math skills, and make sure you click that subscribe button to make the community grow. Follow ohmathgad in its social media accounts, drop a like, a comment below, and see you on the next one. Bye!